Okay, so emphasizing again and again on increasing the size of the market, and of course maintaining that rural market is still a bit of a problem point. The volumes growth, of course, 4% has disappointed the street, but the fact is that volume is something that has been much better, or the margin is something which is much better than what the market expected, about a good 1% higher than expectation, and the stock, of course, is not doing much. But today is not about lever. Today is about the larger market. So let's get our guests in now. SP Tulsian and Madhuresh Joshi also join in our discussion. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Mr. Tulsian, first a word on the big rally today, and especially the kind of rally we're seeing in the large cap banks led by HDFC Bank. What do you make of that?
Anuj, two things. If you see on Friday, we have seen the market remaining weak for practically for the whole day, but last half an hour has seen the market, increasing and given a flat kind of closing, with Nifty down by just maybe about couple of points. Now, if you come on the banking stocks, post the US employment job data number, it is now expected that the US Fed will not go for rate hike on 23rd June, and now it is not seen to be happening in the next couple of months. So that has seen quite positive as well, for the banking stocks. But always, the problem with this May series is that we have been seeing the unpredictable move in the market, because I don't think that the gap up opening has led to any trader, to create long positions, because after seeing a gap up opening of maybe about 200 points on Sensex, people become a bit cautious. One can always argue in hindsight that even if someone would have taken a long position, maybe in the morning at 11 o'clock, he would have made money, because the Sensex is up by about 400 points or so. So what my point is that this has become a daily game. I don't think, I have my doubts. I won't be surprised to see the market, correcting maybe correcting tomorrow itself, or maybe in the next couple of days, maybe giving a good opening here tomorrow in the first half and correcting in the later part of the day. So what my point is that keep taking each day as an independent day and trade accordingly. But yes, this kind of unpredictable volatility is going to remain for this whole May series.
Okay, well, doesn't look like there's any caution in the market at this point. The Sensex is advancing now to almost a 500-point rally. Look at the way some of these stocks are moving. Just pull up the intraday charts of names like Divi's Laboratories, Jubilant Life Sciences, Muthoot Finance. There's so much action that you're seeing in the broader markets. There you have it, all of them rising in the last half an hour. I just want to also point out that HUL has now slipped to the low point, because these numbers are lackluster. Top line growth hardly anything, volume growth hardly 4%, and the margins are only better because of the lower input costs. The input costs have fallen by 240 basis points. That's why margins are looking good. Otherwise, lackluster numbers. Mr. Tulsian, a quick word on HUL. That stock has now moved to the lowest point of trade, as the management also talks about a slowdown in certain rural markets, etc.
See, Sonia, if you really ask me, I don't think that except for personal product, I'm disappointed in any of the segments, because if you see the soaps and detergents as well as on the beverages, both the segments have performed well. But yes, personal product has been seen a cause of concern. That is one. Number two, I'm unable to accept this argument every time market has been expecting a 6% volume growth, which is not seen coming in from the company. So I'm not honestly confirming or accepting that kind of expectation from the company that they will be giving 6% growth. And coming last on the dividend, if you see, I am actually surprised to see that I don't know how market will behave. I'm not able to take a call. Dividend payout is 102%. The company, whatever company has made the PAT of the whole year, 80 crores has been paid as extra, including the dividend distribution tax. So that's the liberal dividend policy of 16 rupees plus. If you include the 20.36% dividend distribution tax, it gives you 102% dividend payout. So as I said, overall I am not disappointed even on the volume growth front, because if on one hand we have been talking of the lower spending power, more especially in the rural space in this quarter, except for the personal products, I don't think that there is any kind of disappointment I have seen in the returns.
Okay, let's get to Sudarshan as well. Sudarshan, we could not of course discuss your last hour trading strategies. Any changes in them? The market has only inched up from that point.
No, there are no changes. We just buy HDFC Bank, Voltas, and my favorite Maruti. Maruti is getting ripe for a rally towards 4800, so obviously not today. But if viewers are listening, go and buy it and hold it.
Okay. Well, Mayuresh Joshi of Angel Broking is also with us. Mayuresh, it's been a fabulous run for the banks. I mean, today names like IndusInd, HDFC Bank are all at new highs. Yes Bank is almost there as well. Do you expect to see a fresh run on these private banks? And if yes, what would your top pick be now?
Afternoon, Sonia. Clearly, after the big run-up that we've seen, specifically in these larger private sector names, where the results have probably not disappointed, both in terms of how the loan growth has panned out and how the asset quality has been for these banks, I think the performance has been quite stellar. Having said that, probably at this prices, my own take is that the valuations have become a little bit stretched from an FY17 perspective. Even if you assume that loan growth in excess of 20-21%, if you assume earnings growth in excess of 20-21%, you're still looking at these stocks trading at much higher valuations at the current juncture. So my own take is that we like the larger private sector banks, banks having retail exposure, banks where the scope of increasing CASA is quite evident. So clearly banks like IndusInd, Yes, HDFC Bank are there on our radar and on our list. But again, I think long-term investors must wait for declines onto these counters, because at the current juncture, even on a price to book estimate from an FY17 perspective, the valuations look a little bit stretched.
Okay, well, it doesn't look like anybody's worried about valuations at this level, at this juncture at least. The market is in such a mood right now. Look at the advance decline ratio, more than 1100 stocks now on the advancing side. Anuj, you clearly saw this coming. I mean, you were telling me about how there could be a 500-point rally, and it's almost there, you know, just 20 points away from that. This has been a trend day, but would you worry about the after effects of this? Because generally the last fortnight has been so very volatile.
Yeah, you know, the market is volatile, Sonia, so you can't, you know, obviously you got to protect yourself in that environment. But I think the point is, if you look at the top 3 index weighted stocks now, you know, the market has finally got leadership from 2 of them, HDFC Bank and HDFC. And it's tough to be a bear on Infosys right now as well, which is the biggest stock. So, you know, in an environment where HDFC is contributing the way it is, it's rally 10%, it could easily consolidate a bit or correct a bit. So that could give a bit of a correction opportunity. But I think the market has given enough signals over the last few weeks that it's a big buy on dips market, and every time the market gives you a dip, whether over a 5 or 6 period, that should be bought, because all it will require is 1 or 2 days for market to change that trend again and, you know, get back into the larger trend which is on the way up. And that's why you have seen this. Today there was what, 3 days of losses for the market in one single day, and that will happen in bull markets.
All right, well, let's do one thing. Let's take a break. We haven't done that in a bit. But our closing bell money control question of the day is on the other big story today, the Thyrocare listing. Will you buy Thyrocare after a 40% listing gain? Log on to moneycontrol.com, post your response, then we'll read out some of the most interesting ones post 3:30 today. And also on the other side, Ashish Tater of FortuneWizard.com will join in with some of his top mid-cap ideas. Steady as she goes for the markets, is still at the highest point of trade right now, 470 points in the green for the Sensex. And the good part is, not once during the day have we seen any major profit taking in the market. It's been a smooth ride on the upside. But what do you do with individual stocks, or rather, where do you invest now? Ashish Tater of FortuneWizard.com joins in with a couple of long-term ideas that he has identified for us. Hi Ashish, good afternoon. The first stock that you're looking at is Indotech. Tell us about that. Why do you like that story, and what kind of upside do you see over 12 months?
See Sonia, Indotech can be a very interesting pick at current levels, because the market cap is 200 odd crores, and if we recall, this is a General Electric company, a Prolec GE JV, that is the promoter of the company, an MNC stock. Now what has happened in the last few years is that when it changed hands, there were huge losses that were seen in the books, and the company injected 150 odd crore, that is equal to the parent's shareholding, just to save the companies from going into BIFR. Now these kind of moves are normally seen when the company is too serious about a business going forward. If you look at the ProlecGE.com, that's the parent's website, they have been very innovative, and they have been now expanding into the solar aspect of the business as well as wind businesses. So I think a large part of that the entire GE wins will actually be compensated at a lower margin for something like Indotech Transformer, so that the company survives in terms of EBITDA. And we are taking a change of fortune from second quarter onwards. Another interesting aspect that I am following up is that Prolec JV will see change of hands, and that will trigger an open offer for the subsidiary itself. Thus, we feel that this is one stock where the promoters are investing, as well as that Prolec part of the Prolec and GE JV may see change of hands. That will be another upside for this particular stock. So, going by the simple mathematics, if I see the stock can easily go and test 260 odd mark, just based on the if there is a change of hand between Prolec and GE, and that will mean a huge positive for the stock, because a stronger promoter from China, that's what has been the street talk in the global scenario. We feel this is one stock that can be looked upon from longer term perspective, and change of fortune because of GE order wins, and that will be an additional trigger for the stock. And we feel at current level you are buying a General Electric company for just 200 odd crore, where the promoter has given away 150 odd crores just to save the company. I think it's a good deal to buy at current levels.
Okay, a couple of stocks buzzing. Both normally buzz, there's some both rally when there's some buzz about the new airport, but Jacop and RIIL, Reliance Industrial Infra, is the stock that we are talking about. RIIL, of course, with the disclaimer, is a Reliance company as well. But Ashish, hi, good afternoon. The other stock that you have for our viewers is Ganesha Ecosphere. What's the story here?
See, Anuj, Ganesha Ecosphere can be a very interesting bet even from current levels. Last time when we recommended in 2014 was because of a Coca-Cola JV at 95 rupees. We recommended, and we had a modest target of 175. We are increasing the target further to 222 rupees, because if you see when Coca-Cola came into this pet recycling business with this particular partner, the volumes have almost gone up by 35%. It's the problem that the crude had fallen from $80 to $30. So from 500 crore of sales to 640, this is compensated by huge volume growth. Now the company makes best profit between $45 on the lower side and $65 on the higher side for the crude, because they deal in pet recycling. So if that happens, we feel on the same sales there will be a 6-7% higher realization. That means the 620-630 crore sales will be 660-665 odd crores for this fiscal, because there is no further capacity expansion. But what will trigger will be the bottom line, where we see almost 50 to 60% jump in terms of bottom line. And if you see the interested parties who have been buying this stock, something like SBI and others, we have been seeing those into disclaimers. I think this is one stock where there is lot of potential, and we have changed the entire outlook, because still if you see the subsidiary and others, Coca-Cola JV partner is available at a single P, almost at a 12-13 P multiple. We think this is one stock that can be looked upon even from longer term perspective. So another stock which we think is a good portfolio bet at current levels.
Okay, let's thank you on that note. Thanks for joining us. In fact, we have a lot of stocks to talk about now. One of them is HUL. It's now at the lowest point, down more than 1% post its numbers. As we were telling you, this is the lowest volume growth that we've seen in the past, at least in the past 6 quarters for the company. So that's something that the street doesn't like. And on the flip side, Vardhman Textiles is the stock that's looking very good this afternoon. That's because the margin performance for the company has been very good this time at 22%. Versus 20.5%. Look at the way that stock has soared in the last 5-10 minutes. Also, the board has approved a transaction between Vardhman and a company called American and Effid Global, where they've sold a stake in Vardhman Yarns and Threads to this American and Effid Global, but we don't know what the stake sale value is. But that clearly is something that the street likes. If you pull up a 6-month chart of Vardhman Textiles, you'll see that the stock has been a big gainer in the past 5-6 months or so. Let's do one thing. It's time for our Monday special Midcap Mania as well. Nigel's here to talk about some of the real estate stocks that he's been focusing on. Nigel.
Well, Sonia, we have been focusing on these real estate stocks, and I was going through, a few of them, and I came up with the stock Marathon NextGen Realty Limited. The market capitalization of the company is only around 460 crores approximately, and they came out with a bigger announcement. I think we had some visuals that were playing for you on the screen. It's with regard, they have launched that JV that was long anticipated with the Adani Realty. It's known as Mont South. It's a very big property. It's around 13 acres. This is on the erstwhile Katao Mills, and in fact this is only the phase 1 of this big project. So that's really what caught my eye. This was launched on Friday itself. It's a BSE notice that they've declared. Promoter holding as well at around 75%. You like when in fact promoter holding is at the brim. And also interesting to note, there are a couple of big investors over there. We have Shraddha Sudhir Walia as well as Kathy Sudhir Walia. We know that in fact Mrs. Sudhir Walia's children, the investor, in fact the name is the same. I've confirmed that, but unfortunately I couldn't confirm whether or not it was them itself. Now moving on then, in terms of their financials, it's a debt-free company. If you take a look at the market capitalizations, at around 450 crores, net worth is in excess of around 550 crores. So that's something that you need to take note of. And in terms of the profitability as well, just take a look at what they have done till now. It's at around 44 crores approximately, and that compares with around 38 crores that they did in the last year. They get close to around 50 crores in terms of rent per annum. So traditionally, all right. If you just look at the dividend payout ratio as payout in the last few years, it's at around 4 rupees to around 6 rupees. That's a positive, and those are all the projects, in fact, that they are working on. Back to you.
All right, Nigel. Thanks a lot for that. Well, we now move on to one of the big stocks of the day, Vardhman, which is the one which is moving. In fact, let's pull out the stock again. Vardhman Textiles is the stock that we're talking about. Sachit Jain, joint MD of Vardhman Textiles, now joins us on the phone line from New Delhi. Sachit, hi. Good afternoon. First, tell us about this 990 crore equity valuation of Vardhman Yarns and Threads. Also, you're selling 40% stake. What will be the shareholding pattern after this stake sale is done?
Okay, so one, as you know, that we are in 5 businesses in the textile space: yarn, fabric, acrylic fiber, and sewing thread, and garments. And we've been hinting for the past few quarters that there will be a portfolio rationalization. So really, to grow further in yarn and fabric, which is going to be our bigger focus in the future, we thought to reduce our involvement in the thread business. Thread, our partners, A&E, are the world #2 company, and they are owned by a private fund, and they wanted to increase their, to consolidate their accounts. So we decided to sell 40%. So after this, we will still retain 11% in the company, and 89% will be owned by A&E. And we are going to get 396 crores once this deal is completed.
What happens to these proceeds, these 396 crores, Sachit? What's the plan with this money?
So in the next 3 months, we are likely to announce our new next phase of expansion plan. Our current expansion plan, which extends into 2018, is about 1,200 crores. We are likely to announce another about roughly 1,000 crore expansion plan over the next, but it will be another 3 months' time before we announce that. We are in the process of finalizing the details of that.
So apart from expansion plans, will you use any of this money to reduce your long-term debt, which stands at more than 1,100 crores?
No, there are no plans to reduce any debt, because the long-term debt is all debt under TUF, which is highly subsidized, low-cost debt.
So will you be looking to sell any more stake in this JV at any point in time in the calendar year?
No. We already have a agreement with our partners that we have a put option to be exercised after 3 years, and they have a call option after 3 years. So we are likely to retain this 11% for at least 3 years.
Okay, Sachit, final word then on your numbers then. Profit looks okay, but the income is flat. So if you could tell us, where did the number come from, and what's the outlook for next financial year?
Yeah, so we have been in consolidation mode for the last couple of years, and we have had an increase in production, but overall yarn prices have been falling, and therefore the increase in production has got neutralized by the fall in prices, and the sales are almost static. And next year also there is going to be almost similar kind of sales. And the increase in net profit is primarily because depreciation charges are lower than what they were, and on a consolidated basis even financial costs are lower than what they were.
I think another parameter that the street likes a lot is the fact that your margins have moved to 20% now. Is this something that you can hold in FY17 as well?
We have always maintained that 18 to 22% is a normal range, so we will continue to remain in this range in the next year also.
All right, Sachit, thanks a lot for taking time out and talking to us. So that's Vardhman Textile stock up 8.5%. Mr. Tulsian, prima facie, from whatever you heard from the management, is the market justified in giving this 8% rally to Vardhman Textiles?
Anuj, if I really take a market cap of about 6,500 crore and after hearing the management that they are mobilizing about 400 crore by divesting 40% stake in that thread company, retaining 11%, I don't think that these kind of things are justified, because if you see the Q4 numbers, it has an other income component of about 90 crore, and that has seen the bottom line going up. Actually on the operating profit, the things are looking constant or on a flat basis, but maybe on this news the stock has hit 52-week high, which I don't think that is justified, because that has not happened only because of the results. That has happened because of this stake sale in the thread company which they have done.
Okay, that same view I think is welcome because the market is also rallying, so I guess a lot of these stocks are moving in tandem with that.
The change in market cap is more than the amount for which they are selling the stake in today's trade. Okay. That's been the kind of run.
I think that's something you need to keep in mind. But let's do one thing. Let's take a break on that note. We still have about 15 more minutes for the market to end, and it'll be a great day for the bulls. But it's been also a great day for the Thyrocare IPO. Our closing bell money control question of the day is: will you buy Thyrocare after the 40% listing gains that we've seen today? Log on to moneycontrol.com, post your responses there, and we'll read out the most interesting ones post 3:30.
Welcome back. Well, the market is at the high point of the day, 450 point higher on the senses. I mean, it did go to 480 points higher, just about cooled off a bit, about 30 points. Let's do one thing. Let's get an insight into dealing room chatter. Then Nimesh Shah is here with Trader Talk. Nimesh, phenomenal day. Cash market volumes have been low, so what's been the feedback from the dealers?
Well, big day for the bulls, but the sense I'm getting is that it's caught the traders again on the wrong foot. Most of the guys were short, and we saw a big gap up, which has led to this big rally. So it's largely still a short covering rally, though. The cash volumes are slightly on the low side with the FIs still reluctant buyers in the Indian market. So that's the thing to watch out for as to how much the FIs of DIs have bought, indeed if they have bought in today's trade. So that's something to watch out. Clearly, but there is still leadership now back in the market. Today the private banks have led the rally. So that's where some bit of short covering has been aggressive in the private sector bank stocks. That's something to watch out. But again, the big event to watch for, this week would be the MSCI rebalance. The sense I'm getting is not only to have individual stocks impact on individual stocks, but even the India weightage is likely to go up by a few notches post this review. So that's something to watch out for. From a technical point of view, with this rally now, the next level to watch on the upside will be 79.50. That's where you've seen a lot of resistance from a technical point of view as well. So a lot of dealers are saying that that's level to watch. But it looks like at least the momentum now has now shifted from selling this rally to buy on the dip. So that's the genesis of today's rally. But it looks like 79.50 is a level to watch from here on.
Okay, and what about the big call of the day, Nimesh?
Well, Sonia, I've picked up a call from India Strategy of Phillip Capital. They feel and they maintain their year-end Nifty target of 8,500, which means a potential 10% upside from current levels. However, they'll be watching out for the progress of monsoon and the key macro data very closely. They believe that the volatility which is likely to come from the global market. So watch out for the Brexit in June, a couple of central bank action in the next couple of months from here on. So that's something which will add to the volatility, and they're advising clients to reduce some bit of beta into the model portfolio. So while they're constructive on the market, the advice to the clients is reduce some bit of beta after the rally we've seen at least in today's trade, and the fact that they expect not more than 10% upside from current levels.
All right, Nimesh, thanks a lot for that. Mr. Ulsan, a word on this big rally taking place in Jacob and Reliance Industrial Infra. Any call on any of these names?
See, Anuj, I don't think that anyone can really take a rational call, because if I need to just say that I can only say that this kind of settlement or the stake sale which we have been hearing for last couple of years, that Jacob is interested in exiting, or monetizing their minority stake which they are holding in NMSEZ and MMSEZ, to the extent of about 15%. And people have been talking any valuation of 2,500 crore to 3,500 crore. But I don't think that you can just attribute any other reason, because if you really see, Jacob is a debt-free company having good amount of cash investments. They are holding large chunk of Reliance Industries shares, and always then people speculate that probably Reliance Industrial Infrastructure (RIL) will become a functional company, which is just right now like a carrier company, or that having pipeline from Chembur to Patal Ganga. Except for that, they don't have any other business. So I don't think that one can really give any rational reasoning for this upsurge in Jacob today. Yeah.
Okay, well, another non-index large cap, which is the stock of the moment now, is Heidelberg Cement. It's up almost about 7%, and we've seen how cement stocks have been the flavor of the day, the week and the month. Heidelberg Cement now at the highest point of trade. But it's that time of the day where we get some strategies going on what you should buy or sell today for a reverse trade tomorrow. Ashwini, there's so much to choose from. What are you picking up?
See, Jet Airways has broken out of a sideways correction, which generally is a better correction than a down correction. So that's a buy with a stop of 645, target of 680. Yes Bank has shown lots of strength, so sooner or later we'll see new highs here. That's a buy with a stop of 935, target of 970. And Reliance Infra is a buy with a stop of 540, target of 565.
Yeah, that's some BTST ideas. Look at Bosch and the big move that's that's taking place there. 4.5% higher now on Bosch. Ranked underperformer, of course, but today has been phenomenal. Back to 20,000 after a long time. But Varinder is also with us with some buzzing stocks. Varinder?
Yeah, look at the way some of these mid-cap, small-cap stocks are reacting post good set of earnings. Hester Biosciences, Indiabulls Wholesale Services, Tasty Bites, Jayant Agro, all up 20% after the companies declare their results. It's a day which belongs to paper and sugar. If you're watching out for the mid-cap and small-cap space, after some of the results coming from paper stocks, all of them are active today. Look at Star Paper, Tamil Nadu Newsprint up nearly 11%. Huhtamaki, PPL, which is up by nearly 6-7%. West Coast, buzzing today. Orient Paper, good set of numbers coming in, where the paper EBIT turned into positive versus negative. It's a sugar day tomorrow. 4 sugar companies will be declaring results tomorrow, and most of them are active even today. Look at Mavana Sugar up nearly 10%, Dhampur Sugar up by nearly 3-4%, DCM Shriram, EID Perry. Not only these companies, but other sugar companies like Andhra Sugar, Upper Ganges Sugar, Out Sugar, Dharani Sugar, Uttam Sugar are all gaining today. Of course, Perry Sugar has been on upper circuit since the time it reported its results. Look at some of the small cap gainers. It's not only the bigger boys like Jet and other companies buzzing, but Global Vector is up 20%, Store One Retail, MP Distilleries, that stock has been on upper circuit since last few days. Next meter is one HUE Services, that stock was up 20% on Friday, gaining again today. Themis Medicare, Dion Global, Mohit Industries, Ramki Infra, SIEL Limited, MTech Auto has been buzzing. Shilkar Technologies, after the results coming in, this stock has been gaining, and Westcon Engineering. So the mid-cap gainers, DFM Foods, of course, after Nigel's mid-cap mania covered it, that stock is buzzing today. Godfrey Phillips has seen good action today, and SQS India, again, in good results came the last few days, but that stock is gaining even today.
Okay, well, that's a pretty long list. Thanks, Varinder, for covering that. Well, the market is still closer to the high point, 450 points for the Sensex and 130 points for the Nifty. Gautam Sinha Roy, the fund manager at Motilal Oswal, joins in now, and we have been speaking with our other guests as well. Gautam, hi, afternoon. The two stocks that have been, the anchors to this rally are HDFC and HDFC Bank, and you have both those stocks in your Focus 35 fund. What's the kind of outperformance that you expect from the twins now over the next 6 to 12 months?
I think both in terms of a little bit of valuation upside as well as 20% of earnings compounding on an annualized basis for HDFC Bank and around 15% for HDFC Limited. Now in HDFC Limited, what is happening is over the next 3 years, the valuation of the subsidiaries also becomes more and more important. So that aspect also comes into play. So I think from a stock upside perspective, both earnings upside is very strong, as well as there is some room for valuation upside in HDFC Bank and the subsidiary play in HDFC Limited. So that's what we are invested in for.
Okay, Mr. Tulsen, the other stock that I wanted to discuss with you was Wockhardt. I know you've been bullish on the stock, but do you get a sense that it's now factored in the worst? I mean, after what looked like a bad set of numbers, the stock has actually recovered 6% intraday and is ending in the green.
See, Anuj, actually in this result season, the majority of the people always take a call on result, and that is what I have been maintaining even when the company announced the Q3 numbers, which were relatively good. At that time also I have said that I don't think that the result is really the trigger for VOCAD, because if you have the bad performance or stagnation coming in from US, don't expect anything to get contributed or anything to be seen in the growth of the financial performance of the company. So the moment if you are taking a call on the results, obviously that is going to disappoint you. Now come on the unless until the company see the US FDA clearances, which are in my view one cannot really define the timeline, but it can be expected maybe in next couple of months. Maybe I don't know whether it will start with one plant or it will be continuously be seen all the clearances coming in for all 3 plants in a span of maybe 2 to 3 months once it starts coming in. And if that comes in, I think that will really be a big kicker, because if you see the US sales, it has been stagnant, and I don't think that in that scenario, even that has been the situation for last 3 or 4 quarters, and giving that kind of situation prevailing, you cannot really expect the company to perform the numbers or post the good numbers or satisfying numbers. So there is no point in taking a call. Obviously, if you are a trader or if you are a near-term investor keeping every day an eye on the expectations of the results also, which could make it stocks move, I think that's a mistake. So maybe after the corrections having happened, because of the short-term investor seen having exited from the stock after seeing the flat result, I won't call it as a dismal number, it is a flat numbers. Maybe the people, those who have a longer term horizon of about 3 to 6 months, they seem to have lapped up, and that's the reason stock has not fell even below 900 rupees intraday, which in fact if you see pre-market, there were all kind of calls given that stock can correct by about 5 to 7%. In the pre-opening it saw down of about 10%. So I think one has to keep an eye just on one point, that is US FDA clearances, when it will start coming in for their plants.
Okay. Gautam, the other pocket that has done well this earnings season is the auto sector, and within that you have names, you've been owning names like Eicher Motors and Maruti Suzuki in your funds for a very long time. Is there still a lot of value here, or would you start to get a bit worried about valuations for some of these names like Eicher Motors?
I think valuations, while rich, are fine as long as the earnings growth trajectory as strong as it is for some of these names. So I think we are more focused on the earnings growth here, which to my mind, both for the car segment as well as the premium bike segment in general, is pretty good. If you step out 3 years hence or 4 years, a possibility of doubling of earnings definitely exists for both these companies, in Eicher's case probably a bit higher. Now the thing to remember is that this year we had a major tailwind in terms of commodity prices, right? I'm talking about FY16, the year that went by. FY17, obviously you shouldn't expect that tailwind to be there. So to that extent, there would be lesser operating leverage play or gross margin play there. So, your volume growth is what will dictate revenue growth going forward. And I think the companies that we are invested in the auto segment are very sweetly positioned in terms of their competitive practices, wherein they are gaining market share and they are growing much faster than the market. I think that is something that is playing to advantage, and definitely earnings growth should continue to be very strong. Going forward, most of the rise in stock price going forward will be supported by earnings growth rather than any valuation re-rating. That angle is definitely there. So, but if we see that valuations are becoming extremely rich for the growth that they offer, then obviously that will be the time to take some money away from the table, but that's not the case right now.
Okay.
Either of these auto names.
Okay, just about 3 minutes left. Let me get one more thought on Z Entertainment. From both our technical guests, in fact, Ashwani bounced back from 200-day moving average. Z Entertainment, what next?
See, the media sector has today been up more than 3%. So obviously, Z also. Chances are once we get past 420, probably will start a new move which could get up to 480, about 500. But this has been a mild correction even for Z. So chances are media sector could outperform from here.
Sudarshan, very quickly, do you have a call on Z?
Well, I would be a buyer in Z. Z is now moving out of a big correction. It's already in an uptrend, again resuming it. So, but it's not a short-term trade. It's something you want to buy and hold. It's a position trade.
Okay, we have just 1 more minute to go, and you know what, today has been a very good day for the bulls. The Sensex and the Nifty go home with almost 2% gains. The Sensex has put in almost 500 points. That's been a great rally that we've seen, and as you've been pointing out, you know, these trend days generally tend to play through till the end, and that's what's happened today.
Oh yes, you know, so there's no problem with the trend day. The only problem would be, make no mistake, today's been a lot about short covering. You'll not see any big FI or DI buy number today, Sonia. At least on the gross numbers, it will be very low because cash market volumes would be low. So follow-up would be important. But the market has told you that the larger trend is up. But let's talk about the stocks that led the rally today. And clearly, it's the fact that the market has leadership now from HDFC, HDFC Bank. Both these stocks rallied in trade today. Apart from that, of course, you had IndusInd Bank almost at a new lifetime high. In fact, IndusInd Bank did hit a new lifetime high. Yes Bank almost went there. Big rally in Axis Bank as well, 3.5% higher. ICICI Bank too was in the green, 3% higher on that. ITC 2.5% higher. So top 5-6 contributors really accounted for about 45 to 50% of Nifty's gains. But still, you'll have to say that it was still broad-based, because if you look at the Nifty, 45 Nifty stocks ended in the green. So it's just that because the weight of these stocks is so much that you'll probably feel that this was bipolar. But a lot of stocks rallied. In fact, look at SBI, NTPC, Bharti Airtel, Hero MotoCorp, Aurobindo Pharma, ONGC. 20 Nifty stocks were up more than 2%. What else can you ask for if you're a bull? Infosys and TCS as well, 1.5% higher on both these names in today's trade. Reliance was up about 1.5%. Eicher Motors made a big move in late trade. A lot of gainers, Sonia, and in fact, same was the case with the broader market as well.
Oh yes, the stock of the day of course was Thyrocare, that had a fabulous listing and goes home with gains of almost 40%, 616. So that's been the stock of the day. Apart from that, cement stocks did well today. So names like Heidelberg Cement, Ramco Cement all rallied about 5-7%. You had good result reactions from the likes of Greaves Cotton, Hika Limited, Vardhaman Textiles as well. It sold stake in one of its subsidiaries, raised 400 crores because of that, and that stock was up almost 10% today. Jubilant Life Sciences did well. Minda Industries had a good run today. So those were a couple of big gainers. Losing end, in the result reactions, of course, you had HUL that lost quite a bit today, post its tepid set of numbers, volume growth just 4% and the margins, of course, were higher, but that was on account of a fall in raw material costs. Equitas also came in for some profit taking post its numbers, so down about 2% there. Couple of others like Titan closed in the red but came off from its low point of trade. So Titan about flat right now. Well, that brings us to the end of what has been a very fruitful day for the bulls. Sensex and Nifty well in the green, and the advance decline ratio as well in favor of the advances. Gautam, I wanted your view on the markets, because in the last fortnight, it's been one step forward, 2 steps backward for the index. Would you be convinced of the rally that you've seen today, or do you expect to see some more volatility?
I think I'll be convinced more or less, Sonia, largely because earnings will recover from here. That is for sure. I mean, the kind of decline in earnings we are seeing last year, that itself has set a low base. And if you look at the entire spectrum of economic indicators, you are seeing a great deal of improvement in many of the high frequency data points. I think from here markets will follow earnings largely because the valuation room is not that high as it was in February. But earnings itself, because it will recover, although gradually, that should help markets pick up. Thankfully, we are in a situation where the global, the situation also right now doesn't look very, very fragile. But yeah, anything coming up on the global front will be a clear risk to look out for. But if something happens which is driven by global liquidity, that will probably be a great opportunity to buy, as was the case towards the early part of this year and late part of last year. So that's something to look out for.
Gautam, of course, in your portfolio, you had, a lot of Interglobe, so you had applied in the IPO. What about Thyrocare? Did you apply in that as well? Will we see that stock in the next fund sheet that will be available for us, say over next 1 month?
I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you that, but no, not really, because it was too popular an IPO to get anything.
Okay, well, we'll find out soon, but thanks for joining us and giving us your views on the markets and on individual stocks. A lot of the stocks that you have in your funds have done quite well, so all the best for the future. But that's the word coming in on the market. Let's also get some final calls in. Ashwini, just one more word, final word on the index itself. As I was pointing out, for the last fortnight, it's sort of been one step forward, two steps back for the market. Would this rally that we saw today, would it convince you, or would you be a bit cautious now?
See, that's a nice way to correct, If it was 3 steps backward, then maybe the problem would be there. We went through a mild correction, and today we've had a strong rally. So the correction, the seeds of this rally were sown in this correction. And since it was mild, chances are we will cross 8,000 soon and possibly build even beyond that. Because there's no point being cautious today. Today is the first day, so you should probably have a rally which will be 2 times the size of the correction. The correction was about 300 points. The rally should be about 300 above 7950 to about 8,000. So 8250, 8300 should be a target. A modest target would be about 8,000. So rally has much more legs to go, and chances are going into the monsoon, first week of June, etc., will be closer to the intermediate highs rather than getting into a correction. So even if you didn't get in today, probably tomorrow you will get some sort of a dip, and that should be used to buy.
Oh yes, that point is well taken. 7866 now on the Nifty. But Mr. Tulsian, one of your favorite stocks, Jet Airways, it's also rallying, big, 18% for this month. Would you recommend people to stay invested in this one, or is there temptation to book some profit?
No, Anuj, because as I've said that, you will keep seeing the volatility in these kind of stocks also. So better to book profits now and look for a re-entry when it corrects maybe by about 4-5%. But this is a good time to book profits, and I won't advise entering now in the stock. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's wind down this discussion on that note, and we will tell you that the market has closed at the high point, almost at the high point, 460 points in the green for the Sensex, and the Nifty has conquered that 7850 odd mark. Well, we've also talking about some story on GMR Infra. You heard it first on CNBC TV 18, and now it's official. GMR Infra has gone ahead and signed that deal with the Malaysian power company Tenaga to sell a minority stake in its select power assets. Nisha Podar, in fact, who broke that story earlier, and now it's officially out. She joins in to give us all the details. Nisha, go ahead.
Thanks for that, Sonia. Of course, we were bang on all the deal details, and 30% stake in the power units of GMR Infra or GMR Energy is what Tenaga is buying for $300 million. Now remember, these are select power assets which the company is selling to Tenaga, because Tenaga was clearly not interested in some of the smaller assets, and Chhattisgarh, which is considered a problem unit for GMR Energy. And this kind of a valuation of 2,000 crore rupees coming in for 30% stake is auguring well for GMR at this point. Also remember that crucial role will be played by the lenders here, because a large part of these deal proceeds would be going for repaying the large over 40,000 crore rupees debt that GMR Infra has on its books. So lenders will have to really say a yes to this particular deal, and that will be a crucial bit to watch out for. But at the moment, Tenaga showing interest and investing 2,000 crore rupees into GMR's power units is definitely coming in as a success as far as GMR Infra's efforts to bring down their debt level is concerned.
All right, Nisha, thanks a lot for that. So, of course, you heard it first on CNBC TV 18, and it's official now. But let's move on. One of the stocks of the day today was Zee Entertainment, and that will be announcing Q4 earnings tomorrow. Of course, we'll have Mangalam telling us what to expect. So, Mangalam, it's again the ad revenue number to watch out for.
All right, the key thing to watch out for Zee is the ad revenue growth, Anuj. So the ad revenue growth, we are expecting 23%, which is lower than what we saw in the previous quarter, also because it will have 1 month's performance in the base quarter of Ant TV itself. However, the strong ratings of their regional channel Anmol, Sarthak will aid ad revenue growth, and at the same time, as we saw in HUL results, as other FMCG companies results as well, the ad revenue growth in the FMCG space is increasing, which will follow into Zee as well. The other thing that will be very important to watch out for in Zee's numbers tomorrow is the EBITDA margins trend. We are expecting a 520 basis points growth in the EBITDA margins, coming in at 25.3%. This is primarily on account of the base effect, where in the base quarter we had the lowest EBITDA margins that the company had ever posted on account of higher operating expenses of the Ant TV launch channel. At the same time, the EBITDA margins are likely to be lower than the previous quarter because of higher sports business losses, and that brings us to the third important thing to watch out for. Remember, Zee Sports, the management had guided for 100 crore loss in this year itself, which hasn't happened because the India-Pakistan cricket match, the cricket series did not happen, but the sports business is likely to post a loss of anywhere between 15 to 30 crores, more specifically 20 crores on account of the WWE event that happened in Delhi. At the same time, the T20 event that happened in South Africa. So watch out for these three things. Along with that, our poll throws up a total income growth of 11%, EBITDA margins which are higher by 520 basis points, and a net profit growth of 18.5% coming in on Zee Entertainment.
All right, thanks for that. So we'll keep our eye out on that stock. It's been a big mover today. It is up almost 4.5%. But our closing bell money control question of the day is on the stock of the day, the Debutant Thyrocare, that had a fabulous listing. But the question we're asking is, will you buy the stock after the listing gains? Santosh Nair of moneycontrol.com joins in now with the top responses. Santosh, what are the borders saying?
Well, an overwhelming majority of them feel that the stock is no longer a good buy at these levels. In fact, 78% say that they won't buy it at these levels anymore. We have Amit, who feels that the risk is far higher at this stage and the reward is quite less. We have Rajesh KLN, who feels that price discovery cannot be a one-day affair. And lastly, we have Avish Kit, who says that, quite a wacky response though, he says that a lot of blood tests need to be done in the coming years as India moves from a Baba and Jyotish era to one of knowledgeable medical healthcare. Over to you, Sonia.
Okay, but that is the truth, right? I mean, the diseases and sicknesses are only going up, so I guess businesses like these will thrive.
A lot of people would say Babas are making a comeback with Baba Ramdev and even a couple of others. So, you know, that argument, of course, is still wide open. But let's do one thing. Thanks, Santosh. We'll take a break on that note. Up next, of course, we'll focus on the commodity market action. Manisha will be with us.